Hi, welcome to Cloud Eagle's Insights in Minutes. Let's kick things off with a question we hear a lot. Why does it even matter how you handle user provisioning? Isn't it just a bunch of spreadsheets and checklists?
It sounds harmless until you realize how quickly spreadsheets become a monster. I've seen IT teams drowning in hundreds of rows, one missed update, and suddenly, someone who left months ago still has access to sensitive apps.
That's kind of terrifying. And let's be honest, nobody wants to be the person who has to explain a data breach because of a forgotten account. With all the SaaS tools companies use these days, that risk just multiplies.
Exactly. And it's not just about risk. Manual provisioning is slow. Imagine onboarding a dozen hires and having to set up every single permission by hand, then track it all over email. It grinds productivity to a halt.
So, moving away from spreadsheets, what does automated provisioning actually look like in action? Is it just a fancy script, or is there more to it?
It's way more sophisticated now. Think of platforms that plug right into your HR system and identity provider. The moment HR enters a new hire, the system auto-creates accounts and assigns the right apps based on role, department, even location.
That actually seems like a lifesaver. No more chasing down approvals or setting up accounts one at a time. New employees can get started on day one without any hiccups.
Totally, and it removes so much human error. Plus, IT can focus on bigger projects instead of repetitive account setups.
Shifting gears a bit, offboarding is where things often fall apart. What happens if access isn't revoked quickly enough?
That's where the horror stories start. Say someone leaves but still has access to old email or CRM accounts. They might accidentally, or intentionally, take data with them. Automated deprovisioning kicks in right as HR updates their status, yanking those permissions before anyone even thinks to ask.
It's wild how often companies overlook this. I've heard of cases where a former employee had system access for weeks just because no one realized.
And it's not just disgruntled ex-employees. Unused accounts are prime targets for hackers. Automation slams those doors shut instantly.
You mentioned plugging into HR and identity systems. Can you unpack why those integrations are so critical?
Sure, HR is the source of truth for who's in the company, their roles, departments, everything. Connect that with SSO, and you get a real-time view. Who should have access, to what, and for how long?
I've had something like that happen too, where IT was totally out of sync with HR, leading to all sorts of access messes.
Exactly, and with automated tools, you cut out that confusion. Everything updates in lockstep with real HR and user events.
Okay, so automation is key, but what about setting the right rules? How do you make sure folks aren't getting too much access?
The principle of least privilege is your friend here. Only give people access to what they need, nothing more. RBAC, role-based access control, and GBAC, group-based, make this easier. For example, only the marketing team gets MailChimp, not the whole company.
It seems like regular access reviews are also crucial. You never know when someone's job changes or if a pattern looks weird.
Absolutely. Automated tools actually flag odd activity or permission creep, so IT can investigate before it becomes a real issue.
Speaking of hidden dangers, shadow IT is a huge problem. All those apps people buy on their own, how does automation help with that?
Funny you bring that up. Advanced platforms can actually sniff out unsanctioned apps, even the free ones. They pull usage from hundreds of connectors, so IT gets visibility into everything, not just what's officially on the books.
That must be a relief for compliance folks. And I guess once you know what's out there, you can actually address people's real needs instead of shutting things down blindly.
You nailed it. Open communication and smart procurement beat whack-a-mole with rogue apps every time.
Another thing I've heard about is zero-touch onboarding. What does that actually look like in practice?
Picture this. A new hire gets entered into the tries, and before they even walk in the door, their accounts are set up, licenses assigned, permissions granted, all by automated workflows. IT doesn't have to lift a finger.
And the same goes for offboarding, right? When someone leaves, access is removed everywhere, not just the big-ticket apps.
Exactly. No forgotten logins lurking in random tools. Plus, everything's logged for audits, so there's a clear record if questions ever come up.
Let's wrap this all up. If you had to make the case for automated provisioning and deprovisioning tools, what's your elevator pitch?
I'd say it comes down to three things: speed, security, and sanity. You onboard and offboard people instantly, slash the risk of errors, and free up IT to work on what really matters.
And the compliance side is huge too. Immutable logs, automated access reviews, and managing licenses all in one place. It's kind of a no-brainer for anyone managing more than a handful of apps.
Totally. The days of relying on spreadsheets and manual tracking are over. With the right tools, you close the doors to security gaps and streamline the whole user lifecycle. Thanks for joining us today. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Insights in Minutes.